What's up, everybody? Continuing with the album ranking series that I've been doing, and this time around doing 1970s studio albums from Aerosmith. So they put out 6 full-length albums in the 70s. They also did have the live official bootleg record, which I'm not including, like I said before. Not doing live albums, EPs, compilations, that kind of thing. Similar to AC/DC, this one was kind of hard. After after numbers 5 and 6, is when it really gets kind of. I really had to kind of look at these things and just like track by track look over, how many strong songs versus not necessarily weak songs, but the strongest songs on the album, which albums had the strongest. And generally speaking, my top 3 are, they seem to be constantly kind of moving around in my head. Of this is just kind of where they are today. And I think my number 1 has probably been my number 1 for probably the longest period of time. But we'll go ahead and get right into it. So my number 6 is their first album without Brad on guitar, Brad Whitford. So they bring in Jimmy Crespo for this album, and it is Night in the Ruts from 1979. So not a bad record at all. It's not Brad and Joe, and you can definitely tell in the music. No, like I said, it's not a bad record. I mean, when you look at Chiquita, Reefer Head Woman, No Surprise, Think About It, these are some pretty good songs. I don't know if they've ever really pulled them out in live sets since, Brad came back to the band after the follow-up, Rockin' a Hard Place, which did not feature him or Joe Perry. But it's not a bad album. If you've never given this album a chance, you should really give it a chance. I'd probably give it about a 7 out of 10. So the next one, it's a great debut record, but I just don't feel it's as strong as the rest of the albums. That's the self-titled debut, where you've got Dream On and Mama Kin, which are probably the 2 big hits off this album. Their cover of Walking the Dog. You got Moving Out, Make It. One Way Street's a good song. But, like I said, not a bad album, just not as strong as the next albums that would come up. Now, this album, I think the next 4 albums would probably be number 1s on anybody's list. And that's Draw the Line, which was their 4th album. And so you got Draw the Line, you got Critical Mass, you got Kings and Queens, Sight for Sore Eyes, Hand That Feeds. Fantastic album. I really love the bass line in the title track. Really just kind of has a heavy groove to it. This is when it started to get interesting, because my current number 3 was number 1 at some point, as was number 2. And these next 3 albums are really where the meat of the 70s for me is for Aerosmith. And that's Get Your Wings, which was their 2nd album, where you got Same Old Song and Dance, Lord of the Thighs, Woman of the World, Seasons of Wither, Pandora's Box, their cover of Train Kept a Rollin'. just fabulous stuff from these guys here. At number 2, which my number 1 for a very long time, Rocks. I mean, Back in the Saddle, Last Child's, Rats in the Cellar, Combination, Sick as a Dog, Nobody's Fault, Licking a Promise. Just fantastic album. A 10 out of 10. And their number 1, how could you put something over a 10 over 10? Because I call it an 11 over 10. And that's Toys in the Attic. Absolute favorite at this moment in time, but it has been for a little while now. I think, when you look at, you got No More, Round and Round, Sweet Emotion. Of course, Walk This Way was a big hit for them. Big 10-inch record is probably a top 5 Aerosmith song for me. But then you look at, just on side 1 with the title track, Uncle Salty, Adam's Apple. I mean, just a perfect side 1. Like I said, an 11 out of 10. Toys in the Attic. My favorite era of Aerosmith being the 70s material. And honestly, you could go with any of these albums. If you're looking to just listen to the 70s era, you could go with any of them, including the one with Jimmy Crespo, Night in the Ruts. And you won't be disappointed. Just some good, strong American hard rock with some blues and jazz kind of mixed in as well. Never were afraid to kind of be big bandish at times with their sound. And I think that's what really kind of distinguished them from other bands in the 70s. So that is my ranking. Put your ranking in the comments or do a response video. Either way. Next video I'll be doing today in just a little while will be my theme video for this week. So thanks for watching and God bless.